Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So, let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And I'm going to dive straight into today's topic. And it is one that I have discussed before, but it is the most common issue as a single parent. So I thought, why not do another episode, a short little recap on loneliness. So you can just go back and listen to this whenever you are feeling a little alone and sad and you feel like you've got no one with you. So just a quick little recap on managing loneliness as a single parent. Because it is tough, isn't it? When you're going through a breakup and you've just lost your life partner, someone that you've been with for years and years and years, and you've been so dependent on them, all of a sudden you're out in the big wide world all on your own. How do you cope with this? What do you do? Maybe you've lost all your friends. Maybe you just don't want to see your friends because you're not in the right headspace. How do you manage this loneliness? Well, the biggest tip, if you refuse to do anything about it, you're not going to change that. If you're in the mind frame of, I don't want to see anyone, I'm miserable, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm just going to stay home, then you're just going to stay lonely. If you want to break that feeling of being alone and not having anyone there for you or anyone there with you, then you need to actually do something to change that. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Now, I get it. When you are feeling shit, you might not want to do anything. You might not want to get out and speak to people. I understand what that's like. But if you don't want to keep feeling this way, you do need to do something. So where do you start? Now, another big thing when you're going through a breakup is quite often you do lose friends. Now, it could be because they were also friends with your husband or wife or partner, whoever they were, to you. It is quite common for those friends to slowly slip away because you both shared a mutual friendship with them, with your partner that you've just broken up with. And they may feel awkward. They may not know who to be friends with. They may feel awkward going back and forth and being friends with you both. Or you may not want to be friends with them because they're still with your ex. So it's quite normal and quite common for friends to slip away when you've gone through this breakup. And the hardest thing is, that's when you need your friends the most. When you need them, where are they? So this is your time to find your people. And it's hard because you don't want to be going out making new friends. When you feel shit, you just want someone there to call you up and check in on you and ask you, are you okay? But sometimes it means getting out there and finding those people to do that with and to do that for you, or the ones that are going to call you up. If those friends that you have now are not doing it, find your people is so important. And especially when you're going through this breakup and you're feeling very lonely, you need people that are understanding of what you're going through. If you're waiting on people that are been married for 20 or 30 years and in this long-term happy relationship and wondering why they're not reaching out to you, good chance they just don't understand what you're going through. They just think, oh, they've broken up, they'll be fine. Not realizing how hard and how stressful and how draining and how everything else it is to go through a breakup. It's a big thing and it's a hard thing to go through a breakup. So they don't understand what it's like. Maybe the last breakup they went through was when they were in high school and it was a short little teenage romance, and they've got no idea of exactly what you're feeling and what you're going through, and they don't know how to approach it. And that's just it. A lot of people don't know how to approach it and say, hey, are you okay? Or, you know, what's it like having to co-parent? Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can help you with? A lot of people just don't get it. They don't understand what it's like to be in those shoes. So either they just steer clear because they don't know how to approach it, or they just feel awkward and they don't know what to say, or they just don't know how bad you're actually feeling or what emotions you're actually going through. So they just don't see that it's a thing that they need to keep checking in on, which some people may think is being rude and nasty, but some people just get so caught up in their own world, in their own little bubble, that they don't realize what other people are going through. So that is why it is so important to have your people around you when you're going through a breakup and when you're feeling lonely. Find people that are going through something similar to what you are, because they're the people that will check in on you because they understand, because they're going through it too. If you're maybe going through the divorce filing or the custody and everything else, they will help you. They can support you because they're going through it too. And you might think, well, I don't have friends like that. No, none of my friends are going through this situation. Now, I hate to say it, but I am going to say it. The best place to find these people is on social media. There are so many different pages out there, whether it be for divorce, for breakups, local pages in your area, mum group pages, dad group pages. There's so many pages for anything and everything. Join some of these pages. Find your people. Find your people. Quite often, a lot of these pages will have meetups, or even if they don't, sometimes people do little introductions and they say where they're from. If you see someone else from a similar area and it's someone that you think you might connect with, reach out and say, hey, I'm from the same area as you. Would you like to grab a coffee? That's how you find your people. So don't just sit at home being sad and thinking, I'm lonely, I don't have anyone that understands what I'm going through. Get out there and do something and change that. And singles groups is another way. Now, you don't have to be on singles groups to meet a partner. You can be on them to meet people who you can just be friends with. There are a lot of women and men on there who are all pretty much single. Well, not pretty much, they are all single. That's why they're on these pages. And good chance they're probably feeling the same way as you. You may see someone that puts a post up on one of these pages and they might ask a question and it may relate to something that you're going through. Then comment on their post or send them a message and say, hey, I totally get where you're coming from. I'm going through the exact same thing. I live in the same area. Do you want to grab a coffee sometime? Or let's meet up. Let's have a chat. I'd love to make a new friend. That's how you go about it. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. So if you're feeling lonely and you don't have the friends around you that you need to support you, then get out there and find them. And there's a good chance they will not say no, especially if it's just a one-on-one thing. If it's a big group setting, it can be a bit overwhelming. It can be a bit daunting to, meet new people in a big group setting. But if you're doing it one-on-one with someone, and like I said, it's not necessarily a date. You're meeting up with someone as a friend. That's someone that you can rely on and call up for chats and meet up with every now and then, and they can check in on you and you can check in on them. That's how you get the ball rolling, and that's how these things start, by actually initiating something. But I will say, and this is why I was hesitant to say this at the start about jumping on social media to find your people, because sometimes when you can be on social media, people take it to the extremes. They're bored, they're lonely, so they sit on it for way too long, and that's what messes with people's heads. You're sitting on social media for too long. You're looking at what other people are doing. You're looking at other couples, other married people, them going on holidays, them doing stuff as a family, and that can mess with your head. So if you're getting on social media to find like-minded people to hang out with or to chat with, don't sit there on it too long to the point that it's going to mess with your head, where you're just getting yourself into a deep, dark hole and feeling worse about yourself because you're comparing yourself to other people. So try do it in small doses. When you're feeling sad and lonely, don't sit on social media for too long. Get on there and find some people, have a little chat, and then get off it. Because that is the one place that can really mess with your head, where you sit there and compare yourself to everyone, and everyone's life looks amazing, it looks glamorous and looks fabulous. But off social media, it's not necessarily like that. But that's not what you see. You don't see what happens behind closed doors. You see the amazing parts of what they want the world to see. So just don't get caught up in the world of comparison on social media. And just another tip of what you can do when you're feeling lonely, and it's the best one, and that is learn to just enjoy being alone. Being alone is not a bad thing. I mean, yes, we all want company. We all want that special person there with us. But in the process of not having a partner, learn to enjoy that time alone. There is nothing wrong with being single. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. There is no need to panic because you're single and feel you've got to get someone in your life as quick as possible to quickly get a partner in because you don't want to be single. Don't look at it like that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being single. So this is your time to enjoy being single. Enjoy it. And you might be thinking, well, I can't because I'm on my own. Well, yes, you can because you're on your own. You might have just left a really toxic, horrible breakup and it ended really badly, and now you're sad and you're miserable, and now you're feeling even more sad and more miserable because you're on your own. So you're dealing with the breakup emotions and everything else, and now you're dealing with the emotions of being sad and lonely. So if you have just gone through an ugly breakup and you're there thinking, oh, I just want a partner. Why do you want to quickly rush into having another partner when you've just come out of a relationship with another partner where it didn't end well and it's left you feeling sad and empty and lonely and everything else? What is wrong with actually taking this time to step back and go, okay, that happened. Now I'm just going to enjoy life on my own. I don't need to be with a partner. I don't need to have someone telling me this is what I've got to do. This is who I should be friends with. This is where I should go. This is how I should dress. I should be saving this much each week. I should be cooking this for dinner. I should be doing that. Now, I'm not saying all partners do that. But when you're on your own, you don't have anyone questioning anything that you do. You have full control of your life. And that is so empowering. It's such a good feeling. So why not learn to enjoy that? Why not learn to enjoy the fact that you have control of everything you do? If you want to go on a holiday, get up and go for a holiday. If you want to go shopping and spend $10,000, then you go do that, as long as you have the money. And don't say I'm telling you to do that, because I'm not. But if that's what you want to do, then you have no one stopping you from doing that. If you want to eat 2-minute noodles for dinner, then you eat 2-minute noodles for dinner instead of having to cook a full feast for everyone in your family because you don't feel like cooking. You do what you want to do. If you don't feel like doing the dishes that night, then don't do it. This is an important part of learning to get through that loneliness phase. It's only miserable and sad if you look at it from that angle. If you learn to reframe that thinking and learn to actually enjoy your time alone. Now, I'm not saying that that's how you should be for the rest of your life, but I am saying whilst you are single, learn to make the most of it. Learn to not rush the process of being single and quickly jump into another relationship that you might be wrongly jumping into for all the wrong reasons because you just don't want to be single anymore. So learn to not think that single is being bad. Learn to not think that single is being lonely, because I can tell you now, there's people that are in relationships and they're lonely. So it's not the fact that you're with or without a partner that's making you lonely. It's your situation. It's your mindset. It's what's happening around you that's making you lonely. Learn to look at it from a completely different angle so you can love where you're at and enjoy where you're at. And it's not just going to change just because you've listened to this and you're going to go, okay, yes, I love it now. You will learn to adjust. It is a process that you do need to adjust to. But the more you can actually sit at home and just enjoy your quiet time instead of going, oh my gosh, I wish I was with a partner right now, or I wish I was doing this, or I wish my kids weren't at the other parent's house because I just hate being alone. Why do you hate being alone? If the kids are at the other parent's house, this is your time to enjoy your quiet time. Because I can guarantee you, when you have the kids, it's not quiet. You're doing the job of two people. You're rushing around doing what mum and dad do. So what two people would normally be doing in a household, you're doing it all on your own. So instead of wishing that they were back with you and you had them, why don't you just go, okay, they're at dad's or they're at mum's. When they come back, we'll have fun again. But for the meantime, I'm just going to sit around and do absolutely nothing this weekend because I have been nonstop all week. And that's not about being lonely. That's about just taking some time to clock off and just reset yourself. And that's just one way of going through it, of dealing with it. You don't have to just sit around at home, but you also need to understand that sitting around at home doing nothing doesn't have to be a bad thing. It could just be you relaxing. It could just be you just enjoying the quiet time. So don't look at your situation about not having a partner or about the times that you don't have the kids with you as you being sad and lonely. Look at it and go, yes, okay, I've got some time to myself. What can I do? So you're not lonely. You've just got time to yourself. Use that time that you have to yourself to do something for yourself. That's how you get through your loneliness. Don't sit around and complain and be sad. Sit around and go, okay, what can I do? I've got 2 days to myself. The kids are at the other parent's house. What can I do? I might even go away for the night because I can. I might take myself out to dinner. I might just sit at home and watch Netflix because I'm just tired and I don't feel like doing anything. I might even call up a friend and see if they want to go to the movies tonight. Do whatever it is that you want to do. But don't sit around and be sad and lonely and complain about being sad and lonely when this is the perfect opportunity to be happy with your life, to be happy with where you're at. Look at the situation you have just come from, the relationship that's just ended, and reflect on, was that a happy relationship? If it wasn't, then why are you rushing to get back into another one where you could end up in that same situation? If you're not allowing yourself time to enjoy your life and to enjoy you, yourself, your time, then why do you want to rush back into another relationship that could go down the same path as what you've just come from and could end you in another broken up relationship where you end up here in the same spot being lonely and sad again? So instead of just going from relationship to relationship where after each relationship breaks up, you're feeling sad and lonely again, why don't you take that time to enjoy being single? So if you do meet someone else and you do date for a while, and if it doesn't work out, then it's not the end of the world. It's like, okay, that's fine. I can cope on my own. I've learned how to adjust on my own and I'm actually okay. When you get to a place where you're okay with being single and you're okay with being alone, then going through a breakup is not going to be so hard and so hurtful. Ideally, you've listened to a number of these episodes and you've picked up some tips on what to do, so you're not going to go down these same dating cycles and you're not going to repeat these same relationship patterns. And this is the best way to do that. Enjoy your alone time. You're not lonely. You're not sad. You're alone. That's different. And love your alone time. And that's how you get through the loneliness. You either find your people, get out there and do something. Don't complain about being lonely if you're not doing anything. So if you want someone to be there for you, if you want help, you want a bit of support, find your people. Get out there and reach out and speak to people and do something about it. And maybe you're not mentally or emotionally ready to do that just as yet. Maybe you're not ready to reach out to somebody new that you haven't met yet and just say, hey, would you like to catch up? And that's okay. It's okay to not be there yet. But in the process of that, take a step back and just look at your time when you are alone and go, okay, I've got some quiet time. What can I do now? Learn to enjoy that time you have to yourself. Learn to make the most of it, even if it's just reading a book or doing something simple around the house. Don't sit around and complain about being lonely when you have so much quality time that I can guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that probably look at you and are envious of your situation, thinking, I wish I got some time to myself. I wish I had a weekend just without the family so I could just go off and do something for me. Now, you probably don't see it in that situation, but I can guarantee you there are people that do. There are people that look at your life thinking, I wish I had some free time. So instead of finding the negative in it, find the good and make the most of that free time. Stop looking at it as that's time when you're lonely and sad, and look at it as that's your free time for you. That's your time that you're alone, and that's your time to enjoy your peace and quiet and do anything that makes you happy without anyone having to question your decision, without anyone having to belittle you, without anyone questioning how much money you're spending or what time you're going to come home or where you're going or what you're doing. It's all up to you. So that's how you get through this loneliness. You find your people and you learn to enjoy your time that you have to yourself and reframe it from being your lonely time and you're feeling lonely to this is your time that you have to yourself. This is your alone time where you can do whatever you want. So that's about it for me. It was just a short little pep talk because it is a common thing that we see spoken about all the time. I'm lonely. How do you get through this loneliness? Well, you get through it by just enjoying your alone time and finding your people. All right, guys, thank you again. And as I always say, if you are struggling, if there are things that you are finding difficult to get through, then I do have those coaching services available on my website. So feel free to reach out. Let's have a chat. All the details are in the show notes. And I also have some ebooks available as well. There's one on single parenting and there's another one on dating. And there's actually a free dating workbook that's there as well. And they're all available on the website. And the details for that is also in the show notes below. So grab those if you're not ready to speak to someone, but they are a great little handbook that you can refer to whenever you're having a shitty moment as a single parent. So thank you guys, and I hope you got something valuable from this, and thank you all for coming back week after week, and until next time, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.